What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to have a quick discussion to talk about something that's interesting. So, as always, I'm Marcus. You're at the channel of the Debt Free Dad. And on this channel, we're following my family's journey to financial freedom, whatever that is to us. And we're also learning about finance. So, definitely give this video a thumbs up. If you're feeling it, give it a thumbs down. If you aren't, let me know what's going on. Definitely love the feedback. So, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about credit cards and using them for the cashback rewards. Is it really worth it? So let's kind of recap to get where we are today with using these credit cards on a rewards point. But before I dive in, y'all already know I got to talk about something. And so the first thing I want to talk about, because I actually got a lot of questions on my Instagram at official debt free dad related to this matter. Got a lot of questions on my Instagram about it. About my meeting and my face-to-face when I got a chance to get a photo with the guy, Anthony O'Neill. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how that whole thing developed, and I'm going to talk a bit about the question that I was asked probably on 10 or 11 occasions through different social media platforms. So, like I said in other videos, at FinCon, sign-up sheet to meet certain personalities. I was one of the first 4 or 5 people to sign up. Never got a confirmation. Checked the day before, never got a confirmation. So I started thinking, like, hey, did this guy duck me? Did he not confirm me? I was one of the first 4. What's up? So, in any event, after that, we're at FinCon. Day 1 go by. I go to the table where he's supposed to be. There's no AO there. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he didn't show up. It's all good. No big deal. Day 2, spot him in the actual building. So when I spot him in the building, it was funny because Britt from Playing Your One Life, shout out to Britt, definitely go check out her channel, Playing Your One Life. I'll put it in a comment. I'll pin a comment and put it at the top. Anytime I mention somebody's video or channel, I'll pin a comment and put it at the top. So he's sitting in this room, and this room is designed to be a gathering spot where people can just chop it up with other content creators and just absorb the knowledge, right? So in this room is essentially imagine like a high school cafeteria with just circular tables with maybe 7 to 8 seats at each table. So, hey, we spot him in the room. He's sitting at the table, but I can't run up on him at the table. It was like he's sitting with the fam from His and Her Money and other of the more well-known financial content creators. So, initially I was like, oh, I'm going to run down on him at the table, be like, hey, what's up, man? Why you ain't confirming my stuff? But I couldn't run down on him at the table. It was funny because Britt over at Playing Your One Life, she's just kind of in my ear the whole time, like, yeah, you should do it. She's from New York, so she's gassing me up to go over there. Yeah, you should do it. I'd go over there with you. I would do it if it was me. So she was gassing me up. But then I thought about it. I was like, nah, I'm not going to run up on him at the table just because he was there interacting with other people. I didn't want to be mad rude. So I was like, well, I catch him. At least I know he's around. Lo and behold, later on that day, he was giving an outstanding presentation that I had the opportunity to witness. And so after that presentation, this was, my chance to go up to him and meet him. So before he closed out the presentation, someone had actually asked him a question. It was like, hey, Ayo, if you weren't doing if you weren't a financial personality designed to help people find financial freedom, what would you be doing? Lo and behold, the thing he said, hey, I would have been an attorney if I wasn't doing this. So, he said he would have been an attorney. Then he proceeds to go on for about 5 minutes, not 5 seconds. He goes on for about 5 minutes cracking jokes on attorneys, on how attorneys are liars and not forthcoming. I will tell you one, attorneys in general aren't liars. And when you're in a court proceeding and they say, do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth? They aren't talking to us. They aren't talking to the attorney. So that being said, he cracked about 4 or 5 jokes on attorneys and kind of how shady they were. So after this whole presentation was over, I went up on him, and the first thing I said was, hey, what's going on? I'm Marcus. My channel is The Debt Free Dad. I'm a practicing attorney, so I'm not feeling all those attorney jokes you were saying. That was point number 1, okay? Point number 2 was actually more of a serious note because I asked him And there was a question related to, the $1,000 emergency fund. And, as you all know who watch this channel, $1,000 emergency fund is just not something that I'm doing. It's something that I'm not comfortable with. I mean, even if I were doing an emergency fund at a minimum, if I had the means to, I would try to at least save $1,000 per family member. But $1,000 is a great starting point if you've never had an emergency fund before. But the conversation, the question I asked them that related to my finance was, what's the discount? I can't wrap my mind around just having that. It was like a mental block. My mind would not allow me to have just $1,000 in an emergency fund. So I said, hey, what I do is I set my emergency fund to this specific amount. As I pay off debt, once that debt gets to a point where I can knock it out with maybe a lump sum from my emergency fund, I'll pull some money out of my emergency fund, eliminate that debt, then keep going to build my emergency fund back up to where it was before I just used those funds to pay off the debts. So his response to that was, I mean, the greatest response as you can give for somebody who wanted to be an attorney. Hey, whatever works for you is the best route to go. It wasn't no hardcore stick to it. It should be $1,000 if you're doing this. Whatever works for you works for you. So that was kind of his advice. And so the final thing that I talked about with him, and I talked to him, I was like, yo, what's good with the sign-up sheet, bro? You got to respect the sign-up sheet, bro. So I did say, hey, man, I signed up. I was one of the first 4 people. Now I got to bum rush you after you speak. So next time, respect the sign-up sheet. But he was all good. He was cool. No issues or nothing like that. Great experience. Good time meeting him. Funny guy. Real interesting guy. And so this is funny. So I posted the picture that he and I took on various social media platforms, on my TikTok, on my YouTube community post, and on my Instagram account. And I got the same question maybe 10 or 11 times. Everyone wanted to know, hey, is this guy still with Dave Ramsey? Is he doing his own thing? Is he sticking true to Dave Ramsey's principles? So this is kind of how I would address that question, okay? Initially, I actually reached out to someone and I was like, hey, is Anthony O'Neal still on Dave Ramsey? Because I haven't seen him on the show in a while. And I noticed his content on his YouTube channel was taking a little bit of a turn. Nothing dramatic, but it was a little bit different from the structure that was there with the Dave Ramsey video. So I actually looked on the website. Hey, I'm an attorney. I delve into things by nature. I looked on the website. They didn't have him listed as a personality, but they did have, when they brought him on, they had him listed as a personality in a press release. So that kind of led me to conclude that whatever their contractual obligation was had came to an end amicably. So there's definitely no hard feelings between the two. He actually mentioned during the conference that, hey, Dave is his mentor. He taught him everything he knows. He still believes in the principles. And that, any opportunity they have where they could collab in the future, they definitely will do that. So the answer to that question, to everybody who reached out and hit me up with that question, is, hey, he's no longer a Ramsey personality, but he does have a great relationship. They're external partners. If there's an opportunity for collaboration, that's something that could possibly happen. And he made it unequivocally 100% sure that he believes in the Dave Ramsey principles to financial freedom. So that kind of answers that question. So that's kind of how the whole thing with Anthony O'Neal went, how Britt from Playing Your Life was trying to gas me up to go to the table and cause a big scene. But I kept my cool, didn't do it, was able to meet. But I just wanted to address that question because a lot of people, like 10 people reached out and was like, hey, is he still with Dave Ramsey? Do he still believes in Dave's principles? And I just wanted to give you all that update. No, he's not with Dave Ramsey no more. He's not a personality, but he still believes in the principles. And they have a good relationship as far as I can tell and from everything that he's talked about. Now, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about credit cards, credit card use, credit card rewards. This is where we were, and this is how we got to where we are now. In February, we had paid off all of our consumer debt with the exception of mortgage and student loans, but there was no credit cards, no cars, no department store cars, none of that crap. So in February, we decided, hey, let's see how this whole use a credit card for the rewards things plays out. So we did a 30-day experiment. I'll probably link that video above. But in that video, we used that credit card to make all of our budgeted but to make all of our budgeted purchases that we would normally make during that month to see how the cashback rewards played out and if it was something that worthwhile. In that month of February, when we used the card, we ended up earning between $75 to $95 in cashback rewards. So it ended up working out. So I said, hey, this is something we're going to do automatically. And we're going to do moving forward, use our credit card to make all of our budgeted purchases so we can benefit from the cash back. Now, before anybody out there say, hey, you should use the credit card for the cash back rewards, there are a few caveats. One, again, I'm an attorney. This is not financial advice or legal advice. I can only tell you what we're doing over here in the household of the debt-free dad. First point, we only decide to play this credit card game once we eliminated all of our unsecured debt. So no cars, no credit cards, no department store cards, no TSP loans, even though that's technically unsecured, but we'll throw it in that category too. So we didn't get into this game of using credit cards and paying it off every month for the rewards until we eliminated all of the unnecessary debt outside of a mortgage and a student loan. That's the only thing we had. Two, if you have the discipline to do it, it'll be very beneficial. If you don't have the discipline to do it, just stick to using cash. There's no big deal. That's point number two. Point number three, I'm a firm believer of having good credit. I think having credit is beneficial to make those purchases of those assets that can appreciate in value. It does help out if you got a good credit score. That's another benefit that I found in using the credit card. So let's talk about how much we got back. Okay, so essentially since February, we've been using, I got to pull up my phone because I want to pull up the numbers specifically, but since February, we've been using that credit card for budgeted expenses to get the cash back rewards. So we want to talk about and see how did this entire thing plan out? How much money have we gotten back in cash back rewards, and is it worth it? The first question we're going to look at, and excuse me for looking at this, but I got to pull up my rewards details so I can have it readily available for you all to provide you all that information. Now my phone want to move slow. But in any event, I know the number off the top, so we can keep going. So, all right, got it right in front of me. Ooh, went up a little bit since yesterday. I got excited. So, in any event, this is where we are right now. Currently, in current rewards points that we have, cashback rewards that we earn is $1,072.45. We also have $98.55 that'll be available to go towards our cash rewards next statement. So right now, it's a little under $1,200 that we have in cashback rewards. Now, let me give you a breakdown of how that works just as far as the purchases go. Amazon purchases, we received 5% cash back. So far this year, we got $188 in rewards from purchases at Amazon. We got $147 from purchases at restaurants. We got $53. I'm just rounding these numbers, but we got $53 from 2% cash back at gas station. $3 from 2% back at drugstores. $570 from 1% back on all other purchases, and $193 from other rewards activity, for a total of $1,156. And remember, we got some money that's going to be applying next statement. But all in all, we made a little bit under $1,200. Now, let's talk about, is this worth it? Cut to the chase, the bottom line to me is yes, I think it is worth it. We essentially made purchases for things that we already had budgeted within our monthly budget. And so far, from February to August, we were able to get almost $1,200 in cash back rewards. So I definitely think it's worth it. Now, the question comes in as to, do you think, of course, this is the question everybody want to know, do you think you spend more when you use a credit card? I'll tell you the short answer, I say no. I've actually went back and took a look at my budget to identify those months where I went over budget. The months where I went over budget were interesting. Can y'all guess the months or the time frame? Just guess where I went over budget. I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds so y'all can see if y'all could. Well, that's enough time. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. It was the month of June, July, and August. And September's probably gonna be jacked too because I pretty much blew my $200 FinCon lunch budget and dining out budget. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video when we do the closeout on Friday. But the bottom line is no, I don't think that you spend more when you use a credit card. Now there may be a propensity for people to spend more because they don't have that emotional connection, not like you actually giving up cash. But in my instance, like I said, if you're disciplined, I don't think we're spending any more than we would if we were using cash or our debit card only, using credit cards. The months that we went over budget were June, July, and August. And I know exactly why we went over budget in those months. It was really because of an error in accounting and or budgeting on my part. June and July are birthday months. In those birthday months, I went and did the annual budget, but I really did not plan out the birthdays. I don't know. I planned out everything else. I planned out vacation and Christmas and all this other stuff. I mean, I planned out everything else, but lo and behold, I didn't plan for the birthdays, and it didn't hit me until the month rolled around. Wife's birthday on the 20th, and here on the 1st, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't plan for the birthday allocation for this month. So bottom line is, yes, I think using your credit card solely for the rewards point is worth it. Remember, like I said earlier, there are certain rules to doing that. One, you have to have discipline. Two, I recommend that you have no unsecured debt. If you still got credit card debts and you still got vehicles that you're making payments on, me personally, I would stay away from trying to use a credit card and pay it off monthly to get the cashback rewards until you eliminated all those unsecured debts. And three, it'll work out perfectly long as you stick to within your budget. I haven't identified as I went through a budget any instances of excess spending. The months where we spent over budget, I was actually able to identify why we went over budget. And, hey, it was just piss poor planning on my part because I didn't allocate for probably two of the most important birthdays I have during the summer month. My wife and my daughters. What's wrong with me? I hope they don't see this. But in any event, we got it squared away. So that's it. I wanted to just give an update on the credit card rewards and the uses for the points. It's definitely something we'll still do. We got about $1,200 that we got in cashback rewards so far. What our plan is for that money is we're taking a vacation in December, and we plan on using that money from the cashback rewards to use as our spending money during vacation so we don't blow things up too bad. As always, hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all take care. Thanks for the support. Be blessed. Peace. And right now, if you're still looking at this video, there should be a few videos that's going to pop up on the screen right around here. Probably not in this live, but on the replay, they're going to pop up. So if you're interested in following our financial freedom, debt-free journey, and learning about finance, check out those videos. It's definitely some content that you'll enjoy. Y'all take care. Be blessed.